hear the cohesiveness of these communities all the way down to the businesses, the rental management companies, and the individual owners of properties, and even just the residents. It's been incredible. And it's like we're all in this fight together. Some fight more publicly and more passionately, and then some fight more behind the scenes. And the combination of the two mayors in that tag team, if you will, has been just incredible to watch. And it's a success story. I wish it was more successful from the claims process and getting the monies flowing to those people who need the monies, but it is a tribute. And real briefly, the reason I was a little late was I was speaking to the chamber this morning about the sports commission, and Tony briefly mentioned that the sporting events which come to our community to use the new Orange Beach Event Center at the Wharf, to utilize the Orange Beach Sportsplex, the Gulf Shore Sportsplex. It's an incredible venue, and I know if y'all are in the rental markets, you see the teams as they come to town. Not only do they come to town as a team, but they bring moms, dads, the grandmas, the grandpas. And the trend right now are for families who are getting so busy and money is so tight, they may not be able to take a summer vacation. Their only opportunity to travel or take a family vacation may be to follow their child to some of these sporting events. So it's a huge market that we need to continue to expand upon. And over the past 3 years, I'm not sure if Mike was going to bring some of these numbers out, but in the economic impact in 2008, there was roughly $3 million of lodging tax dollars and tax revenues associated with the traveling sports teams. In 2009, that number went up to around $7 million. And then in 2010, went to $12 million. And 2010 was the year that the oil spill hit, and our tourism was significantly reduced, depending on what numbers, anywhere from 40 to 60% off. So yes, we have a beautiful beach. We have so many other things to offer, and if we can continue to expand upon these seasons and make sure that these seasons are more, I guess, diversified, and sports is a great way to do that. My position with the City of Gulf Shores, Director of Recreation and Cultural Affairs, which really encompasses all the sporting venues, the sporting events, the Civic Center, the museum, the library, the types of events and the types of facilities that yourselves or your owners or your consumers and customers utilize on a regular basis. I also manage the beachfront operation. We have our beach patrol and the beach is part of the areas that fall under my domain. Also the public information officer, and as you, and I kind of got thrown into this, I've only worked for the city for about a year and a half. And public information officer disseminates the information that's collected. If somebody calls a media person, they will try to get a hold of a mayor or a city council person or the correct body within the city to update them and make sure that the information that's disseminated is as accurate as possible. And so that's my role as public information officer. In order to really fully understand where we are today, I just briefly want to go back to where we were when. And y'all probably have had those moments in time. You remember forever where you were when it happened, and JFK and the first moon landing, 9/11, and April 20th, Deepwater Horizon explosion. Our city council, our department heads, and architects, we had 2 architects on a bus. We were halfway between Pensacola Beach and Mexico Beach, Florida, on a beach tour. We had planned on spending bond monies and exploring an improvement to our beachfront areas at Gulf Place, which is the main intersection of Highway 59 and the beach highway. Years ago, Gulf Shores went through a process called Envision Gulf Shores. Because of the reduced economy and the ability for private investors to come up and build condominiums and to put in businesses there, that sort of is on the back shelf, was on the back shelf, and now we were trying to revitalize that as the economy seemed to be improving. Early spring 2010, as Mayor said, it was an increase over 2009. It looked like things were getting pretty good for us. So the oil spill hits, we all turn around and come back to Gulf Shores and we start meeting every day, just like we would for any other kind of disaster. But the difference between this and a storm event is you see it coming towards you, but you don't know when it's going to hit you. So from April 20th all the way to about May 15th, we didn't really have anything hit our shores. But during that time, monies were made available and precautionary measures were put in place. The City of Gulf Shores had a berm restoration project, a sand dune project on the West Beach area and certain areas within the Condo district in Gulf Shores that because of Hurricanes Gustav and Ike and even Ida in the late fall of 2009, we had a significant breach in the sand berms. And we were concerned that if the oil started to come ashore, it would breach over the sand berms and go into the little lagoon, a very sensitive habitat, depending how long the spill lasted, and if we would have a storm as we would normally have had in summertime. We were very concerned about that. So immediately we completed a berm restoration project, and we finished it on the May 1st, which was 13 days before the oils actually started hitting our shores. The other thing the City of Gulf Shores did was some of those monies that were available for protection, we actually worked with the Department of Transportation, who is in charge of the Little Lagoon Pass, and blocked the pass. And you probably read a lot of information about that. We were able to successfully keep the oils from ever entering into the Little Lagoon through the pass area. Lots of problems with that. Once you start blocking off the pass, now you've got rising water in the lagoon area, so we had to continually, on low tide, and when tide was outgoing, we would open the pass up and allow the water to come out, and we'd have to close it back up to make sure that when the incoming tide, it wouldn't bring in any of the materials. So those are a couple of the precautionary measures that we took as a city. Then I remember when the oil hit. First thing that showed up along with the oil were the cleanup crews, and I know Mayor Kinnon was flabbergasted as we all were to see what showed up. It was a group of workers dressed in white suits that pitched tents on the beach. They came down with buckets and dip minnow nets and started picking up the oil. They would put it in plastic bags, about 6-8 inches in the bottom of the plastic bag, mostly sand, tie it up and leave it sit there. They'd work about 10 minutes, then they would have to take about a 20 to 30 minute break. We figured the mayor and our department heads were down at the main beach looking to see what was going to happen. We gave them the benefit of the doubt. It's going to take a little while to get used to how we're going to get this stuff cleaned up. Next day, same thing, only 3 times as many people, hundreds of people showed up on the beach. Well, that wasn't going to work. So very quickly, we were able to, working with Orange Beach and Philip West with their community, we convinced BP that changing to a mechanical beach cleanup method was the best way to do it. We've been cleaning our beaches for years and years and years. Who's better to really understand how to clean the beaches than the communities that do it and have done it for 30 years? So BP flew in a helicopter, we did a presentation to them, and started cleaning up at night. Because the oils were more solidified at night, it was easier to clean it up. Then another problem comes ashore, that's the turtle nesting season. So we've got to make sure to protect the turtles. So then we get partnership with Share the Beach. And Share the Beach, every single night during the cleanup process, went out ahead of these beach cleaners to make sure that if a turtle came ashore, they would be able to identify that nest and block it off. We continued that process and kept cleaning the beaches to the best of the ability, all the way through the active oil being released from the spill. How can we tell the world that they can still come to Gulf Shores and Orange Beach? Well, how about a summer concert? What can people do to help? Jimmy Buffett steps forward. You probably remember Jimmy Buffett, Concerts for the Coast, showed up in town, and we had 30,000 people on the beach with national television, with CMT, to be able to show the world that we're not destroyed. Beaches are clean, being cleaned. Midway through July, they finally capped the spill. Takes a little while for the remnants of the oils to leave and not come ashore as often. Then we're left with a layer of tar that got covered by storms and just high summer surfs. How do we get that up? The beach cleaning operation, Deep Clean, began. First day they showed up, and Mary, you probably remember this, they showed up with plows, and they started to plow the stuff up, didn't really understand how to do it. Well, again, to make a longer story short, finally they went back to how we sift the debris, and you probably have seen this if you've ever been involved with management after a storm. We take these very large power sifters, front-end loaders, scoop the sand, put it in the power sifter, it sifts it 3 times, puts the clean sand back on the beach, and then it takes the contaminants and disposes upon it. That whole process had to be done before spring break hit. No questions asked. There's a couple of reasons. One, obviously, with the tourists coming to town, we wanted it to be clean. We could say the beaches are clean. The other is the oil, again, is colder in the wintertime. It's better, it's easier to keep it clean. So very successfully, they completed the beach cleaning, the deep cleaning. Mayor, I'm not sure, in Orange Beach, was it January 15th? Mid-January?
No, actually it was the week before Christmas.
Okay, so they finished in Orange Beach. They started at the Florida line, worked their way west into Gulf Shores, finished Gulf Shores by February 12th, finished all the way up to Fort Morgan mid-March, March 21st.